As a GEPF member, are you unintentionally putting your financial future at risk? In this video, I will reveal 3 costly mistakes that members are making when making the decision on whether to retire or resign from GEPF. I'm also going to be sharing with you exactly what you can put in place in order to avoid having to make these mistakes. Now, I'm Devanika, and I specialize in helping GEPF members like yourself decide whether to retire or resign from GEPF. And let's get started straight away on the first of those mistakes. Now, what I want to share with you is as I move along from the first mistake to the last mistake is the one that I really want you to get because it's the main mistake of these, right? But I'm sort of layering this up in a way that's easy for you to digest so that you can understand it. I also want you to analyze this for yourself, right? To see whether these mistakes are being made by you currently. Now, the first mistake is this one, comparing yourself to others. Now, I see this happening all the time when I connect with members, and I've been helping members since 2014 with solutions. But in addition to that, I've lived with a government employee, right? Because my dad was a government employee. Now, why this is a mistake is you don't know what the other person's circumstances are, right? And I can tell you, I've worked with so many different members. Everyone's circumstances are different. So whatever solutions I'm creating for them, it's all unique. Now, why you don't want to do this is there might be individuals, maybe your colleagues who have a debt, right? Maybe they've got a bond to pay, or maybe they've got a credit card to pay, or some type of loan to pay. And maybe you don't, or maybe you have these, right? Now, again, your situations will be different to theirs. When the financial planning is actually taking place, one of the things that must be focused on is ensuring that you get into that position, whether you retire or resign, you want to be debt-free. Which means if you compare yourself to someone who has debt and you don't have debt, their solution would be different to yours. If you're comparing yourself to someone who has no debt and you have debt, again, your solution would be different. So you want to avoid this, right? The other thing that changes is, remember, the family situation might be different, right? So maybe your family might just be you and your spouse, but there are other individuals, other members that are still taking care of their kids. In some instances, there are families where they're taking care of grandkids or they're still taking care of parents. So because of that, the family dynamics being different, the focus is different for those members. And again, your situation would be different to their situation. What else, very, very importantly, is your goals. See, the things that you want out of your retirement or your resignation will be different to someone else. Maybe you want to do some travel. Maybe you're going to want to change your vehicle, right? So you want a new car. Maybe you want to purchase a new home. Maybe you want to get into some part-time business. But whatever it is that you haven't been able to do, and now when you get to this moment that you have that time, this is where you want to focus on it, right? But again, you have to bear in mind, each member is different. So there are other members who might have been doing their travel. Maybe it's you as well. Maybe you've done all your traveling and now traveling is not so important for you. Or maybe you're just not in a position to travel because of health reasons, you see? So then the focus is different, which means that the planning is going to be different. In addition to that, when it comes to a new vehicle, some members purchase that vehicle before they retire or resign. Some members are purchasing based on the 1/3 lump sum or the gratuity lump sum. So again, your situation will be different to theirs. Some members don't really want a new vehicle. They're happy with what they have. So you want to be extremely mindful of this. You don't want to compare yourself to how others are doing this, right? Now, I'm saying this loosely because remember, you don't want to go exactly how they've gone about the planning, but you can take certain snippets from this, right? So meaning if someone's created a solution, so if they're telling you, look, I've found a way to save on tax, then it's something you want to pay attention to see, hey, you know what, is this something that can work for me? I've found a way in which I can invest better. Then again, it's something that you want to look for. Or maybe, again, they've seen one of the YouTube videos on my channel and they say, hey, you know what, this YouTube video has really helped me. I want you to watch it. So when you're sharing these things like this is where, yes, in a way you can start sort of compare, right? But remember, you're still having a look at yourself. You are unique. And again, when I talk to you on the third point here, you'll see why this step is so critically important, right? What I've noticed, the huge mistake here is members sometimes observe other members, and when they see, hey, this member's actually been performing well, or they hear, hey, I've invested in this place and it's doing really well. Well is a relative term, right? Well for you could be 10%, and for someone else it could be 5%. So this is why I say it could lead to problems when you start to compare yourself with others. So try not to compare. If you are looking for stuff, look for the lessons, right? What's important for you. So again, can you save on tax? Can you invest wisely? Is there something of value that you saw? But don't focus so much on the goals or the situation. Let's move on to mistake number 2. Quite a big one. And you can see I'm upping the intensity here, right? And this, it can be a bit hard hitting when I share with you, but it's leaving things to the last moment, right? What I've noticed is members tend to do this, okay? So let's just assume this is where you are now and you are leaving at X, right? Now, X could be next month, it could be 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 2 years, 5 years, right? Down the line. What I've noticed is that members tend to leave that decision towards the end, right? So they know there's only 2 choices that could be made. One choice is in terms of being able to retire, and the other choice is in terms of being able to resign, right? Those are the only 2 options that are available. The problem is a lot of that planning, a lot of that decision making, that thinking tends to get left for the last moment. And because it's left for the last moment, you miss out on a lot of opportunities, right? Because it becomes a rushed process. And I've seen this in cases where members have reached out to me. They cannot optimize the tax saving, right? So they can't get as much tax saving as what I would have liked for them to have get, right? Why? Because there's no proper planning that happened beforehand. The planning is starting right at the doorstep, see, right at the moment that they're actually wanting to leave. There's no proper investing that has taken place, right? So again, if you have money in a retirement annuity or if you have some type of savings, what if the money is not saved in the proper way? So what happens is you might start with a value here, but actually at the time when you are ready to retire or resign, the value is less than what you expected, right? Whereas if you had started your planning a lot earlier, you put yourself in a position where, again, the retire or resignation continues, you see. You're making sure that you're protecting the money that you have so that it's growing. You're making sure that you are able to pay the least in tax. You're making sure that you're putting things in place to protect your family, right? So that you can create this legacy so that they are okay. You're making sure that you're doing the things that you need to do so that you can earn an income for life, right? You don't have to be concerned about you running out of money. You're making sure you're putting things in place for medical aid, you see? So when you leave things to the last moment, it just becomes overwhelming, right? Because there's so many factors to consider when making this vital decision. And as you know, once you make that decision, there's no turning back. It's cast in stone. You cannot change it. So the best way to do this, I would recommend, ideally, you want to start about 3 years earlier. This is ideal, right? You want to start 3 years before you have to make the decision, and not just talking about it, but taking some type of action, okay? Doing something about it, meaning not procrastinating, not just watching a YouTube video, but actually doing something that allows you to save on tax. Do something that allows you to invest wisely. Get some knowledge in terms of medical aid, get some knowledge in terms of legacy or anything that's important for you, right? So you want to start that planning early. It also gives you a chance to engage with a financial planner or a specialist to see, hey, is this person genuinely interested in helping me? And you basically get to test the solution out, right? So at this point in time, when you come to X, you're not starting afresh. You're continuing from work that you have done before, right? So 3 years, I would say, is optimal because it gives you sufficient time to test all of that. But again, either which way, you want to get the start done as soon as possible, right? Now, this leads me perfectly into the next point, right? And the next point, this is a big one. I've noticed this from members thinking that you only need a specialist financial advisor or financial planner if you had to resign, right? Now, this is a huge mistake. And I want to clear this up for you because, again, as I said, you have only 2 choices. You can opt to retire or you can opt to resign, right? Those are the only 2 options that are available. Touch wood, this is if you're no longer around, right? So these are the only 2 options that are available. The thing is, I've noticed that most members want to get access to information or access to a financial planner or learn about tax saving secrets if they're resigning, right? This is wrong. This is a big mistake. You actually want to get that type of assistance, that type of support beforehand. So let me share with you. Let's just say X is the time that you actually are going to retire or resign. You want to get that support here. And I'll say this is now, right? You want to get that type of support now. Now, here's the reason, right? You want See, if you don't know about tax, if you don't know about investing, if you don't know how to create a legacy, if you don't know how to get a medical aid, you then are depending on a financial planner or a specialist to give you guidance in terms of how to set those up, right? Because you're not familiar with it. And it makes perfect sense because you are in your profession, you're great at what you do, and all of your expertise centers around that. And it's not around financial planning. So what you want to do is engage with a financial planner so that this person now carries that journey for you. But again, the financial planner has to compare both options. And here's the secret. It has to be from a neutral perspective, right? I know this is hard because, and I'll talk about this in a future video, because financial advisors and financial planners operate on a commission only basis, right? Which means there might be a tendency to want to get you to resign, but ideally you want it to be neutral, okay? You want it to be neutral where there's no pushing in either direction, but you want to get information, right? So you want information based on your goals, and then you determine which route is best for you, whether it should be you retiring or resigning from GEPF, right? Now you want to do that right in the beginning. See, you want to get that type of structure done now because that gives you clarity on what route you're going to take going forward. And that's how you can optimize it, right? If you know you are retiring, then you can start to look at how you can save on tax, how you can invest or medical aid. Same if you're resigning is incredibly flexible. So then you can start to focus on what you need to do in order to get the tax saving, in order to protect capital, create the legacy, earn an income for life. You see, once you know that. But if you don't have that information, then you're just relying on the information that has been shared with you, right? And very often members have been almost in a way brainwashed to believe that retirement is the best way, right? Because you're never going to run out of money. But most instances, members who reach out to me feel insecure about retiring because it doesn't allow them to leave a legacy, right? Money is only protected for 5 years. If they pass away within 5 years, they're afraid of losing that money out, right? So it doesn't allow you much legacy planning. There's also not much control in terms of the income. You can't adjust your income, you depending on what GEPF provides. So this is not to tell you you're going to choose one or the other, but I'm sharing with you the importance, right? You want to get that financial planning and aim for a specialist who can run the comparison for you side by side in a neutral way, not pushing you into resignation if that's not the path, right? Because resignation is not suitable for every single member. But when you get that information, then you can put yourself in a position where you can make the most appropriate decision. And then once it's clear in your mind that this is the path that you want to do, then you do the optimizing, right? Then you look at all the things that you have to put in place in order to make that solution the best possible way forward. So I hope you found the video insightful. These are 3 costly mistakes that I see members making. It's all stuff that you can action straight away, right? In fact, if you go through my YouTube channel, I've been sharing these videos absolutely free. It allows you to empower yourself with the knowledge that you need in order to make an informed decision, right? So if there's anything else that you need in terms of what I've shared with you, anything that's confusing, I invite you to post a comment below, share with me so that I can give you more understanding of it. Also, if you found the video helpful, give me a thumbs up so I know I'm on track and providing you the type of service and support that I'm looking to provide. And I also want you to share this with other members, right? I believe we have a duty to every South African government employee, right? It's a community that I want to create. It's important for us to stick together. There are other members like yourself going through the situation. Watching this on YouTube is absolutely free. So share the link with them, allow them to be empowered so that they can make more informed decisions, right? Remember, the more we help others, the more we help ourselves. Until then, I shall see you in the next video.